Happy Sunday, T Squad. It's your girl Keisha, aka Color Me Pynk, and I'm here with this week's All Tea, All Shade, Love and Marriage Detroit Season 1, Episode 1 review. I drop videos Monday through Sunday. Everything that I say is for entertainment purposes only and not to be taken seriously or literally, meaning my jokes and jones. So if that works for you, let's get into this review. But first, I want to remind you guys or let you guys know that this Tuesday I'll be dropping my BET 2023 Awards Fashion Killer video. Me and Sharita will be breaking down all of the looks. But let's get into this series premiere episode of Love and Marriage Detroit. The first couple we're introduced to is Brandon and Kristina Smith. They have been married for 11 years. They got married less than 6 months of meeting. And they have 2 daughters together, Britton and Bailey, who are just absolutely adorably beautiful. He has this recording company where he basically grooms new artists and stuff. And she is an influencer and fashion designer, but she will not style his clients, although she used to. But we find out later why she no longer styles any of his clients. Then we have Russell and Kolby, who have been married for 3 years. She's an influencer, and he runs a nonprofit and is in the Army National Guard. They have a daughter named Kendall, and he is fine. I mean, let's just get that out the way. He is a chocolate goddess, okay? I said goddess, child. He is a chocolate god, all right? And she's equally as beautiful. She kind of gives me a little bit of the Bam from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. They favor just a teeny tiny weedle bit. They end up linking with the Smiths for Father's Day. And we learned that Christina and Kolby met through their husbands and have been friends now for the past few years. And then lastly, we have LaToya and Anthony Thompson. She's a sports physical therapist, aka a doctor and a wine owner, and he works for Live Nation and has a production company. They have 3 kids, and Anthony and Russell have known each other for almost 20 years. Kolby and LaToya are sorority sisters. So like I said, everybody gets together to celebrate Father's Day. And the guys are talking about this Vegas trip that recently happened. And Brandon says that his wife wouldn't let him go when she saw who all was going. And Anthony was like, I'm going to have you join my man movement. And Christine was like, no, he not. Absolutely not. And Anthony was like, we going to do a trip just the fellas. And Christina says, are y'all asking or telling? And Anthony was like, I'm not asking. I don't do the asking. And Christina was like, well, how about you? To her husband. And Anthony just sitting there very uncomfortable. You can tell he was embarrassed. And Brandon was sitting there very uncomfortable, and you could tell that he was embarrassed. Anthony was like, I know you not asking, bro. And Russell in his confessional says Kolby would never address me that way. So Brandon says, can I go without her asking me 21 questions? I hate feeling not trusted and supported. And we all know at this point that this man has obviously cheated on her. That's why she has issues with him going places and doing stuff without her. But at the same token, y'all are 2 grown individuals. He shouldn't have to ask you, can he do anything? It should be a conversation. It should be about communication, of course. But at the same time, also, as far as Christine is concerned, who has the time to be policing and babysitting a man? Like, if you're that concerned about him cheating on you, y'all need to go to therapy, or you just need to leave the marriage, girl, because you are going to drive yourself crazy trying to be on his bumper to find out what he doing and who he with and when he coming home and why he ain't answering the phone. Like, that's something that you're going to have to deal with, honestly, truly. But after this episode, we see why she still feels the way that she does, because he's still doing sneaky stuff. We then go to another day where Kolby and Christina meet at like this little kids play gym with their kids. And I must say that both ladies have gorgeous daughters. I mean, absolutely beautiful. So we learned that they're both PK kids, Christina and Kolby. That's another thing that they have in common. Christina, however, is 10 years older than Kolby and looks at her like a little sister. Now, mind you, they're both influencers. And when I did my cast breakdown video a month or two ago, I said that this is going to be an issue between them two. The fact that they're both influencers, that is going to cause a rift in this friendship. And as we saw in the trailer, that is going to cross over and cause issues. So Christina is about to turn 40, and I must say that she looks absolutely fantastic. She is beautiful, gorgeous woman. And she told her husband, Brandon, that he gonna have to step it up with the kids so she can do her thing, because she's overwhelmed with being a mom, like with no help. Like, he needs to step up and help her, because she has, aspirations and dreams that she want to follow. But how can she do so when she's the only one, participating and taking care of the children? You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, girl, yeah, like, you gonna have to put your foot down. Like, I don't understand what these dudes be thinking. Like, this is not 1950s and I am not June Cleaver. You gonna have to help, okay? Out of here. You want to nut up at me and get me pregnant and have me have kids, but you don't want to assist? Child, bye. So then we see Brandon at the studio working with a new female artist by the name of Naja. Really cute girl, young girl or whatever. I mean, I'd be shocked if she was into him in like a romantic way, but you never know with folks, child. But he signed her and hasn't told his wife. Christina ends up calling in the middle of the session, and he has the girl take a break and answers the phone call, and they're on FaceTime. And she asks what he doing, because she hadn't heard from him all day. And he was like, I'm in the studio. Like, what's up? Like, I'm in the middle of a session. Like, what you want? Being real snippy and short with her. And she kind of looking at him like, why you acting weird? Like, why you acting funny? And why you talking to me crazy? Like, huh? So she asked when he coming home, and he was like, I don't know when it's done. Can I get back to the session or what? And she said, you mad just because I asked you a question when you coming home? Like, And he was like, see, I shouldn't even answer the phone. And Christina was like, I can't call my husband. And I'm looking like, see, this is part of the problem of why she don't trust you, because of the way you acting. You acting funny. You acting like you don't want to talk to her. You acting like she getting on your nerves just because she asked you some questions. Now, mind you, she could be getting on your nerves because it's maybe an everyday occurrence with their relationship. But you having an attitude and snapping ain't making the situation no better and not making her feel any more comfortable and secure in y'all's situation. So Brandon in his confessional says, maybe if I felt a little more loved and appreciated, I would get to be home a little bit more. Y'all better start listening to what these men be saying to y'all. Because, baby, no way you gonna sit up here and say if you was loved and appreciated more, maybe you would be home more. Oh, okay, girl. Well, how about I ain't gonna be at home neither? So we both just ain't gonna be at home since you want to act that way. Okay. So she was like, okay, like, bye. Like, you can tell she wanted to turn up, but since they was on camera, she was like, I'm gonna let it be. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, he was acting real funny. Then we go to Anthony practicing with his son some football drills, and his wife LaToya joins them. And he tells his wife that he got to go back to Atlanta for work. And we find out that during COVID, he went to work in Atlanta for Disney Pixar, but didn't tell his wife. Mind you, this is during COVID. She's a doctor. She's working at the hospital. And the kids were being homeschooled because there wasn't nobody in school during that time. So she had her job, the kids, and everything all on her plate with no help from him because he in a whole other state. Like, and didn't even tell her. Like, how you just gonna go to a job out of state and then not tell me where you going? Like, how did that conversation go? Did he tell her that he was going like to Atlanta for a day or two and he'll be back? And then once he got there, was like, oh yeah, meant to tell you I got a job here, so I ain't gonna be back for a while. Like, how did that conversation go? Because that is totally disrespectful. And it's disregarding your family. It's unsafe to leave your wife and children at home, especially during such a a pandemic. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is wrong with you? It was doing Black Lives Matter. Like, that was just so ridiculous to me. And by the way, he gets on my everlasting nerve. He needed to be the fourth wife, the way he act. He already turning up. I don't know if this is his personality or if he was doing this for the show, but regardless, he is annoying. He always got something to say. He arguing back and forth with the women. Like, girl, what is the problem, sis? And I'm embarrassed for his wife because she just be sitting there, don't even say nothing. I'm like, girl, are you looking at what I'm looking at? You should be embarrassed by this buffoon. Ew. It always be the funny looking ones, the least attractive one that do the most. Boy, sit back. Be like Russell. Just sit back and relax. Good God. So, she demanded that he come back home from Atlanta. And of course he did. And LaToya was like, you know, it was just like, I'm going to do this and the family would just follow suit. And Anthony was like, that's how it was back in the day. And he told me it got to be Team Thompson. And she was looking at him like, what? And like she said, this ain't back in the day. This is 2022 at the time. And what you mean it got to be Team Thompson? I am Team Thompson. Like she said, don't act like I don't support you. But you got to support me too as well. Like, I don't like him. Ugh, he getting on my nerves already. Okay? So it's Christina and Brandon's anniversary, and he's playing this surprise picnic with the rest of the cast members at this lavender field. I was shocked that he had the other people there. Like, huh? Why would you have invited everybody else on your anniversary? That should have been intimate time between you and your wife. And in that case, maybe what happened wouldn't have happened. So beautiful setting. They had a singer there, somebody like playing a guitar and everything. It was beautiful. Food set up, gorgeous. She was so surprised and happy. Everything was going well in the beginning until Anthony got the talking child. Ugh. So Christina says to Anthony, have you always been a male chauvinist? He was like, I've never been. That's where you wrong. You take jokes to being that. You got to lighten up a little bit. First of all, I don't know how well they know Anthony and LaToya, but especially if I don't know you like that and you always got something slick to say at the mouth about me and my marriage, I'm going to check you because I don't know if you being funny or not. And you know, people be passing off jokes when really they be for real. So you need to simmer down because he has so much to say about these folks' marriage and about his wife. And it was just so disrespectful. And I'm looking at Brandon sideways like, how you sitting up here and letting him talk to your wife any kind of way? And then I'm sitting here looking at Anthony like, you need to be happy you even got a wife. You need to be happy LaToya even gave you a second look while you sitting up here looking like Grimace. Like, this dude ain't even attractive and got so much to say about everybody's situation. Like, girl, you need to be on RuPaul's Drag Race, not Love and Marriage Detroit. What is going on here? Ugh. So Kolby was like, well, you talk about this man movement all the time. And I was happy that Kolby had Christina back because once again, LaToya just sitting there on mute, ain't got nothing to say. So Anthony was like, the man movement is about men building their faith, how to lead their family, and for men to push for success. Well, the way you talk, it seemed like it's about a man is supposed to run a household and the wife is just supposed to sit there and be pretty and shut up and take care of the household. That's how you come across. So Christina in her confessional was like, it's not impressive to me. I think he just says what sounds good in the moment. And I 100% agree with that. So Anthony was like, he want to go to the club. And Christina was like, well, I don't like the club. I never tell him not to go. And see, one thing about Christina, yeah, you don't like to go to the club, but that don't mean that your husband shouldn't be allowed to go to the club, okay? Now, I could see if it was an issue where he going to the club 5 days a week. Now, that's a problem. That's a problem. But in his line of business, he does have to frequent those types of places, you know, here and there. And she does keep him on a string and on a leash. And she got to let that man go because he gonna find a way to cheat, girl. It don't matter. It don't matter how many restrictions you put on that man. A man and anybody will find a way to cheat if he gonna do it. And she basically places out veiled threats towards him. Like, I don't like to go, but if he can go if he want to, you know what I'm saying? But he knows that that's going to be a problem if he does so. So Anthony was like, you tell him in certain ways. Why you think I'm in Atlanta no more? She told me in so many ways, if you don't come home, it's going to be over. And I agree with Anthony. She does, like I said, say stuff in a roundabout way. And in your case, Anthony, yeah, you was absolutely 100% wrong. And your wife was basically right for telling you better bring your butt home or we gonna get a divorce. So, who says this? Brandon says one of the worst things for a husband to experience is holding his passion back. And Anthony was like, don't let her hold you back, bro. Who are you talking to? He was being so disrespectful to this man's wife. And I'm sitting up here looking like, Brandon, you are a pussy. Because that nigga would have got chin-checked if it was anybody else. Because who you talking to? That's my wife at the end of the day. At the end of the day, this is our marriage. I'm not married to you. Don't talk to my wife like that. You crazy, Thompson. Don't let her hold you back. Oh, so Christina was like, I just don't feel like my husband needs to be in the club. You trying to play it like I'm insecure about it. Anthony was like, you were. Once again, sister friend, why are you in their marriage and in their business, and why are you going back and forth with a woman? Do you need a wig and some stilettos and some lipstick? What is happening here? And once again, LaToya, why ain't you checking your husband and telling him to shut up? You just sit back and let him act like a coon, and you just sitting there, bump on the log. You're going to have to step it up, sis, because he's making you look crazy. So Christina was like, well, given the history, and Anthony nosy, but what's the history? What's the history? Oh my God, what's the history? What's going on? Spill the tea, sis. Let's talk. So Christina was like, that's what you don't know. Given the history with artists and you, that's what I don't like. So Kolby jumps into the conversation, was like, so you're developing a new artist? And Anthony says, how did you know? Now see, you're the one put everything on blast. Everybody trying to blame Kolby and Russell, but really it was Anthony that put everything on blast, because if he wouldn't have said, how did you know? It could have just been Kolby posing a question. You know what I'm saying? And Brandon could have been like, I ain't working with no other artists, or, you know, what you talking about? You know what I'm saying? You put everything on blast with your big mouth, telling us how you know. So Kolby was like, Russell shared with me that he has a new artist. And Russell eyes darted back and forth like, oh shit. We see the flashback where he told Kolby, but he never told Kolby, like, don't say nothing, don't mention it. Kolby actually thought that this was something that was known. So Russell sitting there like, oh my goodness gracious. So Brandon was like, I told him I hadn't told her yet. Kolby in her confessional was like, Russell never told me, she didn't know. Christina says, you know, it's sad I had to find out from somebody else. Which is true. Like, I shouldn't be finding out nothing about my husband from nobody else. Kolby was like, you know, is that the only new artist you're developing? Brandon is on the defensive and was like, I see what you're doing. And if you want to do this on our anniversary, you got to come better than that. First of all, what you mad at her for? You the one that didn't tell your wife. If you would have told your wife, you wouldn't be in a position to get blasted by nobody. So Kolby was like, I would have expected your wife to know before your boy. Exactly. So Russell was like, stay out their household, stay out their household. And she was like, what? I'm just asking a question. Now, once again, I like Russell. It's like, mind your business. This ain't got nothing to do with us. You know what I'm saying? Because if he say something crazy to you, then I'm going to end up knocking him in the forehead. So let's just everybody stay in everybody's lane. You know what I'm saying? So Christina was like, who's the new artist? Brandon says, it's a girl. And Christina was like, is she signed to you? And he was like, yeah. And she was like, oh, okay. That's something you should have said to me. And I agree, especially with everything they got going on. And you signing a female artist and then now telling me once again puts me on the offensive to feel like you doing stuff that you ain't got no business doing. And then you wonder why the woman is insecure. Like, make it make sense, man bun. Come on, dog. So she gets upset and she starts to cry because they were supposed to be starting anew. He gets up and walks away, just leaves her sitting there. And I'm like, why would you just leave your wife sitting there? The Polar performers just standing there awkwardly because it's embarrassing. Everybody else just sitting there while this lady crying. It's a mess. I will say that the series premiere, they started off with a bang. They came with it. I'm liking the dynamics of all these different couples, the different personalities. One thing Carlos gonna do is he gonna find a male chauvinist, honey, one way or another. He gonna find a cheater. He gonna find a male chauvinist and a cheetah pumpkin eater. That's one thing that he's going to do. So far, the people that I'm liking out of this cast, I'm really liking Kolby and Russell. I like them a lot. I like Christina. I think that she's just very insecure and she needs to work on herself. And I feel like if she worked on herself, she'll realize that she don't need to be dealing with no man like Brandon, child, who is a gaslighter. Anthony is a little woman. He needs to be in the next remake of Little Women. Do not like him. His wife is a mute and need to start chin checking him. And yeah, that's what I think so far. I'm excited about this season. Y'all let me know down below in the comment section what y'all thought about this first episode. I'm going to give it an A. Make sure to thumbs up this video, like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell button, you guys. I love you, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.